Hey everybody, it's RNC Numismatics here. I know it's been a while since I've posted my last video. I hope y'all are doing well. I had a customer come in and want to talk to me about Details coins, so I thought I'd make a video and help y'all out as well. So I wanted to kind of help y'all see how to identify a Details coin, kind of explain what a Details coin is, why we would grade a coin as Details, and maybe coins that aren't Details that should have been graded Details, or maybe we think the other way around. So yeah, let's get started. So a coin is considered Details when it has some kind of damage. Maybe it's got a mount that's been removed, it's been bent, it's been repaired, it's ex-jewelry, it's been cleaned, that kind of thing. So something that would impede it from getting a numerical grade. Alright, I'm going to try to move this a little bit so we can get some better lighting. I think that's a little bit better, not much. So this first coin here, it is a 38D Buffalo and an NGC Mint State 66. Alright, so we have a really nicely toned obverse. We have like a sunset orange is what I'd call it, and then some blue and some little bit of yellow here on the hair. We flip to the reverse. We have a lot of scuffing on the slab, but similar toning. Nothing that would really scream out that this is a Details coin. I wanted to start off and kind of show what a coin would look like, especially a Buffalo nickel that would not be Details. Mainly because the next two coins are Buffalo nickels that are Details. Alright, so here's the next one. This is NCS. This is NGC's Conservation Service. Why they sent it to NCS, not sure. Bought it this way, I'm sorry. That's kind of just what it is. So this is a three-legged buffalo. So for this, the front, what would it be, right leg of the buffalo is supposed to be missing. But we'll go into the reason it's graded Detail. So there are several reasons for it. First one is right here where my thumb is on the obverse. That's damaged just blatantly to the coin. Rest of the obverse is fairly decent. There is some issue here and over here by the date, and then here as well by the L in Liberty and the forehead. As we go to the reverse, there's major damage here, right here by the face and by the back leg. All 4 or 5 of the spots mentioned, 6 spots mentioned, are reason alone to call this coin Details, as they did. As far as conservation goes, there's nothing you can do to conserve a coin that has damage. After all, that is just, that's just nicking into the surface of the coin, so there's no way to repair that unless you were to add metal back. So that is that coin, and that's the reason why it is Details. If we compare the two coins, you can kind of see there's a difference in grade, yes, but there's also a difference in just eye appeal and surfaces. So those are the first two. The third one is also a Buffalo. This one's polished, so this one's going to be a little bit harder for certain people to see. I actually sent this in myself really early in my collecting and grading that I didn't realize that it would have been polished. If we can zoom in enough, you can kind of see the surface just doesn't look right compared to this one, right? It's almost too shiny. You would maybe think that it's a proof. However, that's just not right for these because of the shine that comes across, as well as the detail. When you compare the hair of the Unk Mint State 66 to that one, there is a lack in detail. As you can see, as well as in the feathers, there's virtually no detail left in that one compared to that one. When we go to the reverse, here's the Mint State. You can see all of the wrinkles in the buffalo. You can see the full horn. You can see the leg. Here, you get most of them, but there's obvious wear. That's a good sign that the coin is probably not a proof with that much polish, or that much eye appeal, if you will, and having those surfaces. So that's a big red flag for that coin. So again, we have a VF, an XF, and a NUNC. Okay. We go to the next. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to sound as condescending as that did. My apologies. The next coin is a Standing Liberty Quarter. It's UNC details obverse improperly cleaned. So here, just the obverse is cleaned. The reverse is original, according to this grader. Or these graders at NGC, I should say. So the obverse, you can kind of see a little bit of it over here next to the In God. There's some discoloration. The spottiness there gives kind of the indication that perhaps there's been some cleaning. I still think this coin could have straight graded. Some graders would overlook that enough to just give it a numerical grade. If it did not have this cleaning, it would have been, in my opinion, a 64 or so. You can also see across the shield, if I can make it without it going blurry on us. No, I can't. There is a bit of almost like a scraping in one direction. That's a good indication as well. On the reverse, there's not much to really note. There's some scratching. Let's see, over here by the wing, you can see one mark if I tilt it just right. And then there's a couple of marks over here by this by the base of the eagle's tail feathers. Overall, it's a nice coin, but again, there is an obverse cleaning. So I don't really have any other smaller size details coins in my inventory at this time or in my personal collection. I try to keep straight graded coins for the reason that they're straight graded. But we'll dive into this next coin. The rest of them are dollars or gold. Again, I'm sorry I don't have as many to help identify for newer collectors, but I'm more than happy to help you identify your coin as well, so just send me a message, and I'll see what I can do to help you identify or whatever. Again, RNC Numismatics, we have an email of ciannelli2014@gmail.com. My name is Cody, and you can just send me an email, and I can respond to you that way, or you can find us on Facebook at RNC Numismatics. That's all one word. However, business-wise, it is R space and space C space Numismatics. And as far as the email, again, it is all lowercase, no caps, ciannelli2014@gmail.com. Okay. So this coin is VF Details repaired. Now, there is an old cleaning. When it comes to early U.S. coins and even colonials, that kind of thing, they do allow for an old cleaning because most of them were. You can kind of see in the reflectiveness of this coin that it has been cleaned, as well as in the stars. That's a good indication. If there's gunk under the stars or in the writing, there's probably been an old cleaning if it's not anywhere else. As well as you can kind of see around the figure, there's kind of this shadow. That's a good indication of an old cleaning. Actually, I didn't notice that there on the date. I'll have to look, see if I can identify the die pairing for this one. So this is the repair that they're talking about, that the reason they graded it details. So you can see all of these parallel lines that are almost damaged, like the buffalo, the three-legged, where you have these kind of gouges. And those on this coin are actually not supposed to be intended as damage. They were mostly done at the mint. However, we can't prove that this one was done at the mint, and that's why it has to be graded details. So at the mint, in the late 1700s, early 1800s, if the coin had weighed over 1 ounce, they would take and they would file it down, so they would weigh 1 ounce. At the time, 1 ounce of silver was worth $1. So they were trying to not give away extra silver. And later on, people would go and shave down these coins, get some silver from them, and use the silver for whatever they needed to, or use it to buy things, that kind of thing. So That's another reason why these are so commonly repaired or damaged. Okay, next coin. So this one's straight graded. However, I do not agree with the grade. I'm going to explain why, and as you can see, I'm pointing here to this bottom by the date. So we'll talk about that part first. So to me, this is considered a rimding. That is an official term for grading companies to use to details grade a coin. Remember, details grade is basically any reason to not give the coin a numerical grade. And if we look, these rimdings go all the way around the coin. All the way around. So that to me is an issue. That should have been details graded. There is some pitting as well on the obverse. That is a big issue as well. That is usually grounds for details grades. Sometimes they will call this graffiti as well. Graffiti is usually just like somebody etching their initials or a letter into the surface of the coin. However, that is not the case on this one. We flip to the reverse, and the first thing I always noticed was this right-hand side, the eagle's left side, looking dark, almost looking like the wear was a bit uneven. Well, when you tilt it just right, you can see all of America, whereas when it's like this, straight on, you cannot see the whole word of America. And so that is what they call staining. And that is also grounds to give a coin details. Again, details coins do fetch a lower premium over non-details coins. I like to think of it, would you rather having, perfect car or a used car, or a car that's been in a wreck? Obviously you want a car that's brand new, or at least looks brand new. And so this is the wrecked car, in my opinion. And so this is a coin that's graded straight grade, but it should have been graded details. All right. Now I thought maybe some people would be looking at the color of certain coins, trying to figure that out. So again, if you're looking around the stars, you're wanting to look for any kind of shadows, any kind of just toning that doesn't fit with the rest of the coin, kind of like on this one. So in this one, it's a little harder to see. I actually personally think this would straight grade normally as it did. The only thing I will note is there is a lot of pitting, a lot of hits on the obverse that are kind of an issue for me. Yes, I would straight grade it. There is some allowance when grading a coin for these kind of things, but this is, and I think this falls under that, but there is some issues to note with it. When you go to buy it, or buy a coin like it, you do want to know that that may change the resale value or even the value you buy it at. I really love the eye appeal of this one. It does look mostly original, but I will say that I believe it has had an old cleaning, very old, because you can see the outline of everything being kind of a shadow having around each part of the coin, to give grounds to say that this was cleaned at one point, as well as the way the surfaces are, they look a little bit rough. So now I'm going to talk about two coins that are not details that may come across as details. So the first one is this Proof Morgan in my proof set. I have a whole video on my proof set. It's the pride and joy of my collection. We just got notified that it's the finest 1889 proof set in the NGC registry for now 5 years in a row. Really love the coins in it, and it's just kind of my favorite for the personal collection. So what I wanted to point out was this mark here on the reverse. I'm going to zoom in for it. It's going to be a little hard to see with the video. You may want to pause if you're having a hard time seeing it. And again, I can't really make it much easier to see. I might have a glass I can try to use to help show it a little better. Let's see here if we can get there. Look at this. Okay, where are we at? I'm trying to point out. Okay, we're too far down. Here we go. So what we're looking at is this check mark. Now, this is actually raised. It's really hard to see in this video, and I apologize for that. But the check mark is raised, and so that is what is considered to be a die scratch. Now, die scratches tend to offer a slight premium on coins, not much on proof coins, but older coins like this, it's kind of a big deal because you just don't see it, especially on a proof Morgan. There is a little scratch on the obverse on the cheek that you can notice right away, but overall, it's a really nice looking coin, great eye appeal in my opinion. But I am biased towards it, so we have to, I guess, keep that in mind. So I just wanted to point out that there are things like that can come across on coins that make it look like it's a details coin when it's not. Next, we have this Morgan in a 65 star. Now, star stands for exceptional eye appeal. NGC is the only grading company that uses the star, but a lot of dealers will recognize the star because, let's face it, that eye appeal, that mirror is just amazing. I have tested it out. It comes out to about 4 feet. You can see things clearly through this coin. It is black and white. Now, what I wanted to point out was you see a lot of the bag marks, a lot of the scratches here on her face and in the fields if I turned it just right. So bag marks are actually really common on Morgans. They're actually okay as long as they're not deep. So most of these you can see are kind of just surface scuffs, if you will. That is okay as long as they're not deep. Again, Morgans were stored in bags, and the bags actually would cause the coins to have marks, bag marks, because they would hit against each other and rest against each other, and then when things would move, that would cause them to scrape each other. So that's what I wanted to point out. I know the reverse is not nearly as pretty as the obverse as far as that mirror goes, but that is that coin. Now we're going to get into some gold. I know this has been a really long video, guys, and I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get through all of it I can so that I can help you guys as much as I can. So this is a fractional, California fractional gold. This is not minted by the U.S. government, but it'll serve the same purpose. So we see this black portion right here. So this was actually in some kind of necklace. Maybe it was in a coin ring at one time. Now, I mean, we're talking how big this thing is. That's that in size. Here's a Morgan dollar. It is quite a small coin, but a decent coin nonetheless. These range for about 130 bucks in this condition, so they're still kind of pricey. But again, mount removed. Basically, it's just from some kind of jewelry or been soldered to something, maybe a pin, and they tried to fill it. Again, you can see on the reverse, there's some uneven wear. That may have been where something was resting onto it. As well as to note, these were usually with poor strikes, so that may have been a striking issue. Alright, the next coin. Now, this is another straight graded coin. I actually, when I found out it's straight graded, I called my friend at NGC, well, when she worked at NGC, and I said, hey, why did this straight grade? And she goes, well, the person grading it basically is the head of the department, and we don't argue with our boss, kind of thing. So the reason I wanted it to be details, and of course we don't want our coins to be details, but I do like being fair and honest with how things are graded. It's been cleaned. It's clearly been cleaned. We can see around the stars. We can see there's a space in between the stars at, what would we say, 9 o'clock. That have some circular spaces around them that kind of indicate an old cleaning where it's been toned around. Not to mention just the whole scrapes on the obverse, the reflectivity of the obverse is not common for these coins, and it's not correct. The style is wrong. Reverse is the same way. We look at these this chatter and these marks right here, these indents are a lot like we saw in that Buffalo nickel, and it's a coin that we should have had details, but it didn't. It actually came out of an old PCI holder. It's a third-party grading company that's not as respected, and it's actually, I don't even think, in existence anymore because they're not respected. They were a basement grader, so to speak. They graded their own coins. All right, the next coin is the same way. It does have a chipped slab. Say that 5 times real fast. And again, I believe this coin should have been details. Now, of course, these 1830s gold pieces, this is the same design, the 2.5 and the 5, but they were allowed a light old cleaning or even a moderate old cleaning in some cases. So this one, again, has some toning over it. You can see a lot of the chatter. By chatter, I just mean all these marks all around the coin. But yet it graded XF45. I don't agree with that. You know, here's another look at that. There's the shadow. That would indicate a cleaning. So overall, it looks like a nice coin, but there are some issues with the coin, and I personally wouldn't grade it XF without grading it XF details. I've got 2 more coins left to show you. We're going to end on a high note with some larger gold pieces. This one's a Carson City. Again, we can see that it's cleaned based on the reflectivity, the circles around the stars where there's not as much reflectivity. Sorry, I'm having such a hard time with my words right now. And then we have these indents on the face that are a good indication of maybe we should call the coin details. There's a bit of a stain right here on the nose, making her look like Rudolph. That is a good indication that we should have called it details, as they did. They say obverse and properly cleaned, so we look at the reverse, and it doesn't look the same. In fact, in a lot of cases, you would say, or a lot of ways, you would say it looks like a different coin. It's not. I wish we could just copy and paste, but that's not the way this works, unfortunately. I do think maybe the reverse had some cleaning done, but not enough to mark it as cleaned. If we look at it, it's a little bit dull. It is an AU, but I think we could have had a little more shine to it, but it may have just been the strike of the coin. Some striking issues do result in lack of luster, maybe the way the planchet was dealt with. Another thing to note that I know I didn't mention before, when we look for luster on a coin, that's a good indication that it hasn't been cleaned because the surfaces are still intact. We see how on the reverse you have this luster. I'm going to try to keep my finger here, but you can see how that kind of light just reflects off of it and moves. That's a good indication for luster, that it's original surfaces. You don't have that on the obverse, and that's a good indication as well to have a cleaned coin if there's no luster, or a lack of luster where there should be. I can do a whole nother video on luster itself if you want. What is bowl luster? What is a lack of luster for that type of coin? Coins like this, where they're proof-like, don't actually get that kind of luster. And that's because of the way the surfaces are set up. So again, this is a 63 proof-like. The thing I wanted to note here is sometimes the surfaces do reflect. But notice the difference in the way they reflect. I mean, same design. Yeah, there's, 13 years difference between them and a different mint, but the color is way different. And when we compare it to the reverse, the color is still a little bit different, but that could be because of the surface. Old gold does have a different color than newer gold, and cleaned gold has a different color than regular gold just because of the polish. So what we're going to look for on this coin to make sure it's PL and not details, we're going to look around the stars. The stars look great. Like there's no circle around them. There's no halo to anything. There's no shadow really. There is a mark on the chin and a mark over here towards the neck, but now keep in mind there we are allowed scratches. We are allowed some nicks as long as they're not too big, too deep. Like I said, there is some chatter, but nothing that would say it's too deep for it being graded the way it is and to argue against the grade. You know, there is some stuff going on here, but Not sure if it's on the slab. Nope, actually that's just toning. If we get a little bit this way, we can see kind of the changing color. So that is just toning. Toning's okay. At one point it was not considered okay and not considered market acceptable. However, the market has changed and toning is actually desirable. I can do another video on eye appeal. If y'all would like, just feel free to let me know in the comments or let me know in another video. Not in a video, but in a message, and I will I'll work on making a video for eye appeal. Again, these two coins, and I'll even bring in the proof. Even though their surfaces are different, you have to look around the small devices around the effigy and decide, is there a halo? Is there something, some reason that we would call this details? Again, I want to thank everybody for taking their time to watch the video. I'm so sorry it's a half-hour long. I try to keep my videos shorter than that, but again, I had a lot I wanted to get through to you guys onto this video, onto this message, and I knew that it would be useful to somebody. I just hope y'all enjoy it. If you liked it, give me a like. Subscribe if you haven't already and you'd like to. If you have an idea for a video you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Yeah, have a great day and great week. Stay safe, and God bless y'all.